when you are here, you start to realize why people start to make jokes before the presentation. So, maybe here, cool? No? Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Hi. So, as some of you might know, I'm from Venezuela. I'm come from a small town in the east coast of Venezuela. And yeah, I moved to Spain, obviously, because I'm here now. But I moved because I wanted to network and I wanted to grow. But for growth and to make network, it's not just about to move into another country, right? You might need a plan, you might need something to work with in order to contribute with those goals. And for me, this 2019, in part of those goals was to make a talk, and 6 months, and now I'm making it. So the people that helped me to start with this idea tell me that to answer the first question that I had, which was the subject. So what's the subject? What is the thing that I'm going to say to the people? Probably the easy way is to find a subject that I can easily bring to friends, to a conversation with friends. And in the beginning, we think that it was about burnout. So I started to make some research about it, do my homework, right? Because I'm going to be in front of a lot of people. And yeah, nope. It was easy to realize that for me, it doesn't feel right. For me, the things that I found in the internet was a way to outsource the problem to someone else that wasn't you. So I didn't believe in that burnout version. So the story is when the love for JavaScript is not enough, or maybe when the love for your work is not enough. Because we are really, really lucky to find this type of environment where most of us enjoy a lot of the work, but it's not the only thing that you have to take care of. Last year, it was a year with a lot of changes for me. I took a time off from technology, but I mean, not all technology, right? Cellulars, or laptops, whatever. But the developer side, I really, really want to ban the developer side from my life. Because I thought that the technology environment was a very produced environment. All those popular companies that suppose you love you, care of you, just extract your soul and use you as a tool and not respect you at all. But I'm far from believe that today. In that sense, the real question is, how do I arrive to that mental state? How do I got in that feeling and how I come out from that? In order to know that, we need to travel in time and to share with you the 7 moments that bring me here. In Venezuela and probably in other countries in the world, the first 20 years of our life are defined with a purpose by default. You have to go to the school, then the high school, then probably university, and that's something that you have to finish before you get a work in your family or your father or whatever. Once you finish that, you might start to experiment with your life. But the 20 years, yeah, you have a path. You have to walk in that path. So I did. And when I finished the university, I have a lot of energy, but energy without a place to put it. I was anxious to eat the world and to do a lot of things. And I was like running in circles, trying to find a place where I can put that energy. And then, as our friend Robert Kiyosaki was saying in his book, I entered to the rat race. I found my first job. Hate it, totally. PHP developer, woof. So I started to have this work 9 to 5, probably not 9 to 5 because here in Europe it's very different. In Venezuela it's more like 7 to 6 or something like that. I didn't know enjoy it, but when I start to be in that place, I start to wonder. I don't want this for me. I want something different. I really believe in the fact that we can dream without boundaries and do for our life whatever we want if we really, really want to do it. So some news or some event come up and someone told me that another guy, a college friend, he was starting a company with another guy, random guys. I just knew it for a bit. So for me it was crystal clear. I mean, I'm not happy right now. I don't know what is going on there, but looks better. So let's do it. And I found the start to work. I felt like entrepreneur already. I was in the startup, everything's super awesome. Start with these guys that they have clients from outside of my country. And I start to work a lot and learn a lot from them. I was very, very enthusiastic with the environment and the things that I start to discover. And suddenly I start to have more credibility in my family because, yeah, this kid is starting to do something good. He's trying to bring money to the house. Yeah. Yes. But not everything is happiness, right? I didn't get burned. I actually get fired. I was super excited with the experience. And I remember the time that I was in the desk and I received the news. And for me it was super difficult to put a lot of your time in something, but it wasn't enough. For some reason it wasn't enough, and I didn't understand that. And you see, people often say, if you fall, just come up and keep fighting. But now I realize that it's not like that. It's not like you fall and then get back. You have to analyze why you fall in the first place and then go back. Otherwise, you will just straight to the wall. But that's the thing, because you didn't analyze why you fall. And that's something very important to take. In any case, they start to do well because I say, all right, you know what? If I get fired, probably it's because I didn't work enough. So now I'm going to work more. So now my work is going to be in the top, and then go my friends, and then go my family, then go everything else. If I'm going to do something, first at my deadlines, and my manager, and my boss, whatever, and I'm going to do everything it takes to be excellent on what I'm doing. And that's the approach that I take, or that I took at that time. So I started to work with a lot of energy, a lot of things, sacrifice a lot. Even I miss wedding of friends and everything because I have deadlines. And that's my attitude at that time. Like, I'm sacrificing for my art. I really love Javascript. I really love my work. I'm enjoying this. But I was maybe making some goals with the wrong KPI. If you know what I mean, you start to maybe shape the truth on the things that you really believe. But I start to get rewarded for the wrong vision of the life because I put my work on the top of everything. But in the professional environment, I was growing. I got promotions, more money, more freedom. And in a situation like my country is, to earn in dollars is a lot of the privilege. And I make it rain. And a lie told 1,000 times becomes true. So my lie was my truth. And if anyone comes to me and told me something, I won't believe, because that's not my truth. That's not my reality. In any case, I became this kind of robot guy, and I was killing it. So with all the promotions, the money and the stuff, I got outsourced to work in Asia. For me, it was mind-blowing. Someone in the other side of the world wants me to be there, to work with them? Fuck, man, that's awesome. And you can imagine how I felt when I said to my mom, yeah, I'm going to Asia. Why? Because I have a client that wants me there. That's great. This is exciting. But it was easier to assume some realities than facing it. Why is that? Because when I get outsourced, I remember I stumbled to a contract, and the contract stands the amount of money that is going to be paid by engineer. And I directly assumed that money was for me. The whole of the money of that contract. I supposed to not see that contract, but I saw it by accident. But I didn't want to communicate, right? And that's something that we might face from time to time. We sometimes go to jail, not jail, I mean speaking louder, or we just avoid conversations because we don't want the awkward moment, and we just like protect our reality, or in my case, I wanted to protect that victory. For me, it was awesome. I'm going to earn a lot of money there. But suddenly, as I trade a short victory by a long time pain, I realized at some point in the first month that I was in Asia that I was going to be paid 5% of the amount that the contract said. 5%. For me, woof, another punch. Because you make expectations, you make your implicit reality, you didn't communicate anything, and you just assume things, and that can hurt, and it hurts a lot. In any case, I remember I tried to negotiate, and I arrived to something a little bit better. Well, the point is that I start to learn about the communication. We tend to overlook the communication skill, and it's very important. The things that I have faced when, for example, I make interviews to junior developers, I realize quickly that the guys that have the communication skills has this source of power that is unbelievable. You can grow, you can boost your entire life if you try to take care about your communication skill. It's awesome, the things that being well at communicating can open for your life. So, in any case, if the time in Asia ends, I came back to my country and I face a client that has my illness. A client without communication skill. It is very difficult to connect with someone, to work with someone, and to relationate with someone that doesn't want to communicate, or that doesn't want to speak, or maybe not doesn't want, but that is not aware that he needs to push a little bit more. And when I say pushing, it's about communicating ideas. I remember even when I arrived here, that my whole mindset changes, but I struggle a bit because I was working remote a lot of my time, and just discussing a small topic with someone for me was euphoric. It was difficult, but then if you are conscious of that, you start to breathe and develop that skill, and that's super game changing. The team that I used to have was amazing in many ways, and I have another amazing team here. And we struggle, but we rise with the victory. And we fight a lot with that client thing to make it happy. But I was already tired, right? I came from Asia, the things that happens to me, a lot of stress, disappointment, then then this guy that doesn't want to communicate, come on. So I remember I took one extra day of my weekend. I passed like 4 years without vacations. So for me, a whole weekend without Slack was like, woo, yes. And the cars stopped moving. I remember I went to a mountain to learn how to climb near my town. And on Sunday, just before going back to the town, I received, because I checked my Slack, just in case my CEO needs me. And I realized that he write me a message. And it says, I was trying to find you, but I couldn't. I'm going to shut down this thing. And boof, another punch for Alexis. The thing is that I felt like the engine of that car. I felt like the right hand of the guys. So for me, that the things going to shut down, it was my fault. Because I was the engine, right? So if the thing not working, it's because of me. At that time, I didn't understand that glories and failures needs to be celebrated as a team. When everything is awesome, when the glories became, we just hug together and say, yeah, we did it, blah, blah. But when the failures came, we tend to try to seek for the responsible. And we need to change that mindset. Both of the things needs to be celebrated as a thing, and celebrated because failure is just an opportunity to grow. And that's it. Life has not over. You just have some spaces to grow. In any case, after the pain, after I feel super bad with myself, I realized that I started to feel freedom. Freedom. I mean, 4 years without vacations, in long-term vacations, I started to do whatever I wanted. I remember that I tell to my friends that Sunday, no, let's not go to the town. One more day here in the mountain. But you have to work. No, I don't. That's the thing. So I start to have the power. I start to have the power that I thought that I didn't have. And with the money that I got from the company, I got into crypto. And that time was very, very popular thing again. And it's being popular now again. And I have this machine making money for me. So it was awesome. I remember the feeling of going to sleep and knowing that something is just throwing. That's great. I earned 5 times less, but it was 10 times happier. Because I have enough money to go to a restaurant, to travel, to go out. I didn't have to explain myself with nobody, because if I wanted to take 1 month, nobody's going to say, but we have a deadline. No, nothing of that. And for me, that freedom was just amazing. Amazing. But with the time, it's like, I guess, because I haven't been in jail, but as people in jail, like, you have too much time to think, to observe, to understand probably. And that happens to me. I was super grumpy at that time, just before being fired. And I discovered, and even if this sounds super evident for you, but for me it wasn't. I discovered that my grumpiness, it was because I didn't feel the control of my days. I just have one task and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Sleep and task. It was impossible just to understand what's going on, but because I didn't allow me to think about these things. Have you faced the experience when you has been asked or whatever, and say, you feel bad? Yeah, what do you feel bad? I don't know. And it's like, for real? You don't know why you feel bad? Because I mean, if you don't know, how is possible that you are going to solve a problem that you don't know? Or how is possible that someone else can help you if you don't know what's going on? And that started to change because that happened for me a lot. When my wife told me, are you feeling bad? What's going on? I don't know. I'm just grumpy today. It's like, wait a minute. Let's try to analyze that. The thing is that I became the master of crypto. Everyone was asking me about the crypto, blah, how to do, what to do, and I have a lot of time of that. But at some point, I wasn't anymore the guy that was very busy. The busy guys was others, was my friends. Now I wanted to party, to go, to travel, and they have to work. So I have some discipline from before, if you remember, and I have to put it in someone, in something. So I decided to start to trade, which is a very complex word. And things start to get even better because now the only goals that I have set before for me was about numbers, about earning more. But I didn't stop to think what I'm going to do with the money. You know, because sometimes even it's funny when you practice with your friends, you say, what you do with 1 million, 3 million, 10 million, whatever, you put a name. Often people will tell you like, I will be lie down in a pool. Okay, probably. Maybe you say, oh, playing video games. Man, I have been there. In 3 months, you need to do something. In the pool, you need to do something. Video games, I get tired of that. You need to do something. You have to have a purpose. I mean, I didn't was millionaire, but I have the freedom. The thing is that I get maybe too confident with the thing, playing with money, because I didn't have too much to do with it, so I can take some risk. Boom, 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 boom. Broke. Nothing. I remember I have a debt of 30 times what I used to have in monthly basis with my machines. And it wasn't serious problems, like really serious. Because I got people looking at me and whew, you cannot imagine the pressure of that. It's very, very tough. I'm very good at sleeping. I can sleep in 30 seconds. Those nights for me was super tough. Super, super tough. But the thing is that if you remember, I banned technology. I wanted to be a developer. And at that point in my life, I had 2 skills. Developer, trader. And that's the thing. The world and his variables changes, but our essence as a human beings don't. And that's something that is super key. When you understand that, when you start to observe yourself, what's the things that you want, what are the things that make you happy, those things probably are not going to change too much. And those are the things that you have to look at when you make your path in life, in order to really be happy. It's not about earning more. I mean, money is a tool, but it's not just throwing numbers, because that won't fulfill your human essence. So back to the timeline, I didn't know what to do. I didn't even think about developer. But I have a good partner. My wife told me one night, maybe you should think about being developer. And at that night, I didn't answer. It was everything black in the room. And close my eyes, fall asleep, no further conversation. It's like, you know that it's bad. And the next morning, of course, brushing my teeth, I look my face in the mirror and say, Alexis, you have to move your product aside. Really, man. We have 2 options. get killed or get killed. No, but yeah, it was pretty edgy. And I said, okay, I will do one project, just one, and I have some conditions for myself. I won't allow anyone to change the mood of my days just because my work is going bad at that time. I won't allow my manager to shape my whole environment and things just because I have a bug in my app. I think that the most important thing that I remember I put in the table was bugs are part of the process. And we have to enjoy that process. And in the next time that you find something that you cannot fight or that you feel that you cannot fight for, just remember that it's a process. Sooner or later, you are capable and you are going to solve it. So, we tend to be very good finding obstacles that are in our surroundings, but not the ones that are within us. When I finished that project, I realized that the problem wasn't my manager, technology, companies, computers, developer, no, nothing of that. The problem was myself. The problem was to see the life at the way that I was seeing it. The problem was to be so stressed. The problem was to not define my boundaries. And with that, I don't want to say that you have to be maybe more loosey with your work. No, at the day, for today, I would say I work a lot. I maybe work more than before. I'm open source contributor, I work here, and I try to do more things to get better. But as I have a plan, I have a purpose that is different from just numbers, the feelings are super different. And you can start to enjoy the things. So, as we are arriving to the end of the talk, I will ask you, can you see the difference between the Alexis from the beginning of the story to the last year? The word is self-awareness. And the first time that I stumbled with this word, for me it was like, bullshit words, whatever, motivational thing is. No, but for real. The whole life changed a lot if you just take a minute to analyze yourself, to understand yourself, to think again in the things that you like and the things that you don't. But you say, how? How can, okay, I listen to you, I like the thing, I don't want to go through that same path. How I do it? So the first thing is understand yourself. I have repeated this like, I don't know, 1,000 times right now. But it's that, understand yourself. Observe from your surrounded and steal from it. And when I say that, it's because when you conceptualize this fact, and that's one of the things of why I came to Spain, and I think I arrived to an amazing place, is because here you have people that has something to give in every corner. There are people that has amazing communication skills, people that has technical skills, people that with the just fact to be there, they make maybe the day a little bit more cool because they are funny or I don't know. But those characteristics, try to spot them and try to absorb them to be better human being. I was super surprised in an activity that we have, I don't know, a few weeks ago about describing certain points of the people of our team. And for me it was a little bit extra interesting how my teammates struggle a little bit with those. Because for me it was super clear. This guy apart me this guy apart me this guy apart me this. It's like try to steal from them and to grow from them. And last but not least, take ownership of your happiness. If you think at some point that you are not, it's probably because you give that control to someone else. But it's not because you cannot do it. When your things go down and you don't know, it's because you probably give the control to an external thing. You always have to be the one that dictates that happiness. Every day that you wake up, you decide if that day is going to be good or if that day is going to be a problem. And yeah, of course, I get mad time to time, and I sometimes get super stressful with the responsibility because I want to perform at the very best. But the key difference right now is that when I start to lose the control, I realize, hey dude, we are losing the control. Just chill out a little bit, go back, ping pong, and then go back. That's the difference. I'm not saying that we are going to avoid this because it's impossible. We really love what we do, hopefully. And these things are coming. But when you are self-aware, you can take those thoughts, control them, and be better at them. Well, before we go, I have one very small story. Yeah, small. This weekend, I went to a music festival, electronic music festival. If you see the stories from my friends, it was like jumping 7 hours. I enjoyed so much. And for some reason, making this checkpoint in the middle of the year to see what is my status about my goals and everything, I found an old list. And in that list, of course, priority changed a lot. But at that time, I said, I want to go to an electronic festival. I want to go. And 10 years from now, I was almost 15. I was searching, I was discovering, the electronic music. I remember I discovered this guy, Armin van Buren. He was my first DJ. And I love him a lot. And this weekend, I was with Armin live. And when I stop and think about it, and I say, it would be awesome. Imagine that I move 10 years back in time. I talk to myself and say, no worries. We are going to be in Europe, in an apartment near the beach, and this guy is going to be in a festival near your house, and you are going to be there. And he will be amazing. I can imagine the feeling of that guy. It's like, what? For real? And you say, how is it helpful? Why you're telling me this? First one, because it's interesting, if you think about it. And the second is because if you didn't grasp anything from what I just said, I have one small exercise for you that helped me a lot. Start to imagine what is the best version of you in the next 10 years. But don't put limits, all right? It's like this tech environment. Just do whatever you want. Describe the things that you are going to eat, the breakfast, the lunch, all the things that you have, all the things that you want in that place, and then maybe you make the MVP. But you got this picture of the guy that you want to become, and walk through life going to that guy that has all the characteristics that for you are awesome. And tell me from which ways can you surprise yourself in the next 10 years. Thank you very much. Questions? No? Too awkward? Yeah.
You were mining bitcoins, right?
Yeah. Why I didn't see it? Yeah.
How much expensive is the electricity bill in Venezuela?
Well, if we go to that subject, it's very depreciable. It's almost free. That's the thing.
Because some moment I tried and it was dealing with numbers and it's impossible to do it.
Yeah, well, it has its
Space,
things.
and because the machine, you need
No, it has its things, even here, but in the good days. Yeah. Anyone else? No? It's okay. Please do the exercise. It will be awesome.